welcome back to another Tag Member Spotlight. This is a new Tag series where we chat to different members within the Tag community and talk about all things digital advertising. So today, I'm really pleased to be able to welcome Phil Schraeder, CEO of GumGum and member of the Tag community. So Phil, lovely to have you here. For those who don't know you or GumGum as a business, can you give us a bit of an intro to you and to the business?
Sure. So thank you so much, Jules. My name is Phil Schraeder. I'm the CEO of GumGum. And what we've set out to do is our whole vision at GumGum is to really shape meaningful connections in the digital world for everyone, everywhere. And so we're doing this truly by empowering our advertiser partners to capture their audience's attention without personal data across all the current and future emerging digital environments. We're a contextual first global digital advertising platform, and we capture people's attention without the use of personal data. So our strong stance is that, an advertising ecosystem like ours should really be based on an understanding of a consumer's active frame of mind and the behaviors so that we can truly build a more equitable and safer future for ultimately all of us as people, but then the industry as a whole, the publishers, the advertisers alike. And we've been a global company now, and we operate in almost 20 countries worldwide, and we've been around for about 15 years.
Wow, yeah, I love that little phrase, active frame of mind. That's great, and a move away from personal data, and obviously all the issues that we've seen that comes with that. But also, like saying, you've been around for 15 years, so kind of looking at GumGum's growth in the last 15 years, and the fact that your product portfolio has expanded to several different media channels, from display to CTV to gaming, with, as you said, contextual advertising being at the heart of this. Can you kind of share any insight into differences that you see sort of vertical by vertical or sector that you're seeing with different clients across those channels?
Yeah, great question. I think what's so interesting about contextual technology is that with every vertical first is we work with all of them, right? Pretty much every vertical has some sort of specific need for advanced AI contextual capabilities, whether that be targeting, looking to understand creative insights so that we can help provide them that information so they can take advantage of them. And so when we look across all of them, there obviously is a fundamental core requirement to provide safety and be fraud-free inventory. But I think that's where contextual has such a special opportunity, is really in the brand suitability component. So for example, you might be working with a retailer, and that retailer might, be a lingerie company. And then you might be looking with, a CPG brand that is trying to sell, paper towels. And in both instances, both have different thresholds for the type of content that they feel they'll connect the most with for the brand and what they deem safe for where it's going to show up. So those suitability requirements are critical. But what also I think we really need to drill down in, as I mentioned, just the emergence of so many new digital environments, is that brand suitability within these digital environments is very different. So on the web, for example, text makes up the bulk of all those contextual signals that we do receive. But in CTV, so much more to analyze. You have dialogue, you have sounds, you have barking dogs, you have dishes clanging. And on top of all of that, you have the mood, right? I might very well be seeing a picture of a backyard, but is it a scary movie? And how am I feeling? And these all become very important elements into really capturing and understanding video contextually so that you can align with that right environment for that vertical, especially in those long form pieces of content.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I love the point that you make around sort of contextual and brand suitability, and not that it's that you have to be looking at those two things and the opportunity for contextual and brand suitability, but also that it's not a one size fits all across platforms. You need to be looking at which platform you're on, depending on how you use that contextual targeting and how you build in the brand suitability. So yeah, that's great answer. Really interesting to hear that point of view. So I know that GumGum have worked with a pretty impressive list of brands. I think, you know, Mini, I have a Mini myself, Mini, Vodafone, Hershey's, Bose, I have Bose speakers. When it comes to brand safety, what would you say are kind of your clients' top priorities, if you can kind of drill that down?
Yeah, I think across every client we work with, you know, obviously there's a minimum threshold of brand safety that must be adhered to. And that can be many clients working with various levels of whether it be GARM in order to protect their brand in a certain way, you know, that relates to the suitability and ultimately where that placement of their ad is. And of course, there, when it comes to brand safety, are obviously the fundamentals that are consistent across every brand, and rightfully so. For example, making sure you're not on any type of human trafficking, right? But some brands really are, you know, moving towards being more okay with different types of content when they feel the signals are a lot more accurate, like the contextual ones we can provide. So alcohol is a perfect example, right? Aligning with top 10 cocktails for the summer or something like that is really great for, a liquor brand, right? But if it's talking about maybe how alcohol can be, drunk or bad or those types of things, is that the right place for them? So it's always that balance.
Yeah.
And so as for that protection, it's really about, being as uniform as you can for that client so that you can present them first and foremost the fraud-free inventory to run on, but then be committed to find that pocket of suitable inventory that they can really take advantage of.
Yeah, such a good point. Again, it's kind of like there's a flaw that you just are never going to appear against brand safety wise. But again, the suitability is about understanding the context of the content and what is right for that brand, not just like
exactly.
We don't go against alcohol or we go against all alcohol. It's kind of like what is actually the context of the content within that.
Yes. It's a great, exactly, Jules. And I'll just add to that when you look at like display, or like I mentioned, text is such a key part of the web, right? If I were to write an article, because I'm in Key West, Florida right now, if I were to write an article like on killer key lime pie, that's blocked because of the word killer, right? So we're still using, antiquated, just basic words to try to overprotect us from safety. But it's about recipes, and that's a great opportunity for, a CPG brand. And it gets even more complex when you move into the CTV world, where now it's what's going on and what's the tone and what's the mood. And I think that even makes that more complex. But if you can find the right technology to hone in on that, it's quite magical what you can do in providing value for your brand.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot with CTV and also with audio, these kind of new areas, like you mentioned, tone. That again is depending on what the tone is, will essentially be a different type of content, text or content that they're talking about. So yeah, very interesting points as well. So I was looking back, seeing that GumGum has been a member of TAG for 6 years, which is pretty impressive. You've achieved 2 of TAG's certifications. You have the Certified Against Fraud and the Brand Safety Certified seal. So obviously, from our point of view, we would say achieving these seals obviously clearly demonstrates to the market that GumGum has a real commitment to protecting its clients' media spend. But from your point of view, Phil, what is it about those programs that encourage you to, actively go after them and achieve those seals?
I think one of the things for us, it's a great question. We really love the work that you're doing, because for us, it's all about transparency. And the more we can do to align with organizations where we can give validation and on exactly clarity to our advertisers on how we're helping to protect their brand from a fraud and safety perspective is really, really important. So, for us, we've done this over the last years because we've wanted to make sure that our safety, technology is best in class, and that our contextual tech and our engine that we call Verity is really at the forefront of being able to find those pockets, but really set the brand up for a safe environment. And so having that brand seal from TAG is just that other validation and transparency around the work that we're doing and that we're passionate about. And so our participation of this is brought everywhere. We highlight this on our websites. We make sure we share our participations with our brands and our agencies directly, because we know the TAG name is one really recognized as an authority to our clients. And we also acknowledge that again, as I reiterate, that transparency is key. And so for us, it's on the safety, right? Of course, it's on the fraud. And also for us, it's on other accreditations that we can lean into to validate, right? Within, say, the MRC around our tech, to give those stamps of approvals, I think are so important, so that brands can really find the right partners to lean on, and they have some sort of validation.
Absolutely. And I think in addition, it really sort of helps to build sort of trust in the industry, and
That's exactly right.
chain, that we're doing the right thing. And are there any kind of additional tag resources that GumGum have found useful in addition to achieving the seals?
Yeah, I think what's really great is that because we are so focused, and we really see that tag can provide us so much opportunity, being able to stay close and partner, like the tag combination with us, and being able to help to shape and understand new emerging certifications, right? How we can lean into when those things come out and take advantage of them, make recommendations, I think has been a really great partnership. And even to see tag and tag members like come and join webinars, or join things that we do, or events to highlight and continue to build awareness to them, I think is also really, really important.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that. And so I think that's where the dialogue begins, is making sure that visibility layer and that connection there is being able to use tag as a resource to go after. And I think it's just a simple, is easy for us as a company to really understand that the training resources are keeping us educated, and we need to make sure that when we're looking at all of the different certifications, that the training's important, that you are the experts with knowledge. And so being able to provide what other companies are doing and help us understand that, and ultimately what the goals of each program and certification are key.
Yeah, and I think that really enables the success of tag. And what we're trying to do is when our members kind of lean in and have that dialogue with us, because while we also, we try to be thought leaders and bring education out to the industry, it's also important for the industry to feed back into us and talk about the challenges that they're experiencing on a day-to-day basis that we perhaps don't always see, and how we as an industry and as a standards body can address that. So that's really great to hear. And so just kind of like final question, what advice would you give to any sort of prospective or current tag members about leverage can't talk today, sorry, leverage tag? I mean, you've already given some great ones, but any additional advice that you'd offer?
Yeah, I think I would continue to, the one thing I do think the best is really continue to get to know the teams and the partners who are certified. That's definitely number one. And maybe get on newsletter distribution lists from them, get on, agendas with their marketing or comms teams around maybe webinars, because I just think there's always great opportunities to just hop on and make sure you're listening. And I think that's, like I mentioned, I think that visibility on both sides and that knowledge information sharing is so key. And I love that, the team, the tag portal, I know you guys have updated that. And so that has become so much more easier to use. And I think continuing to enhance and make it as easy and as low touch to be able to kind of continue to navigate with tag in all ways, including just UIs and tools, are also always just, I think, a really strong investment, but super smart. And it does mean a lot to us as partners to make it that much easier for us.
That's brilliant to hear. So thank you so much. There's some great insights there into GumGum and what you guys are trying to do and what you've already achieved, and also, how you're working around brand safety and suitability with contextual. That's really interesting. But before I let you go, Phil, we've got our fire round. So
I know, I've heard about the fire round, so I'm ready.
I'm going to try and get to know you a little better.
Sure.
So are you ready?
Ready.
So first one, are you a cook at home person or an eat out person?
I'd love to be a cook at home person, but with my schedule, I'm an eat out person.
What would you say is your favorite season of the year? Probably depends which city you're in.
It definitely depends which city I am in, but definitely I like hot and heat. So I would say summer.
Oh, we're very similar. So what is the last movie that you watched?
Oh, such a great question. I just watched the movie Looking. It's a it's a gay television movie that was off of a series, and I just caught it. It was actually just about the life of a gay man. It was really good.
I'll have to look at that. My last movie was Indiana Jones. I watched it last. I've told
That's
everyone.
a good one. That's a good one.
A good one. So are you a city person or a countryside person?
Oh, that's so tough. I'm gonna have to say I'm both. Like I can't live without either. I'm a city person. Like I'm gonna be fishing on a lake in the rivers of northern the US in next week, but then I can't live without the city. So I think I have to say I'm both.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think we all need a bit of both. So we're in July now. Last month was Pride Month. I've only been lucky enough to go to Pride in the UK. So I've been to London Pride and Brighton Pride in the past. But what would you say is your favorite Pride festival?
So many. They're so amazing. Lucky that they're all over. It would have to be Amsterdam. I had recently, GumGum had acquired a company in Amsterdam called Just Premium. So they came together. And it was one of those moments where being able to be there with the team that recently joined your other team, now you're one holistic global company, and just to have the energy of everyone together in Pride, celebrating together after that and being able to do that was just epic. The canals, the boats, it was just something I'd never experienced before, and it was just amazing.
That sounds incredible. So I think I heard you say earlier that you're in Florida, but I think you're normally based in LA. I was going to say, what's the best thing about LA?
The best thing I think about LA for me is the old Hollywood, the history, the rock and roll, the old entertainment. I love the Sunset Strip, some of those classic rock and roll, music venues, right? Like the Whiskey and the Viper Room. And I think that element of history, I think is just so cool.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. So I think you probably do a fair bit of traveling with your job. So what are your 5 must-haves in your suitcase when you're traveling?
Oh my gosh. Self tanner, because I always like to make sure I stay tan, even though, because I am in warm weather, so I have to keep my skin super, super tan. Gosh, that's such a good question. A sweater. I'm a huge cardigan person, so I have a cardigan usually everywhere because planes are super cold.
Yeah.
Slip-on shoes, because I'm a big person that needs to, I'm obviously walking through airports, so I would say that. Let's see, what else would be on my list? And of course, toiletries. I could go on about those. Oh, and then I do have I just have a pair of shorts that are kind of my lounge shorts. I don't know if you have those, like where you take them everywhere. So I have one pair of like lounge shorts that even if I forget them when I'm walking around a hotel room, I'm like, oh, I forgot those shorts that are super comfortable. And then I do have a crossword puzzle book. So I do old school crossword puzzles, the New York Times ones, and I just find just taking a break and doing that and playing or traveling is good for my brain. Yeah,
those are great. I'm going to think about those for my next trip. So, what is an app on your phone that you could never delete?
Ooh, that's tough. It'd probably have to be right now, coincidentally, is probably the BBC. I get a lot of my news. I'm on the BBC app all the time. I kind of go there for most of my news, and I look at it pretty much every morning. I know that's somewhat of a like lame answer, but probably in a fun app wise, probably Instagram. Just staying connected with my family and my friends.
Yeah,
I would say that also.
Yeah. Okay. This next one's pretty tough. I wouldn't be able to answer this one, but what is your favorite track of all time?
Ooh, that's so hard. Let me think about that one.
I'll come back to that one. Have a think. And I've got my final question here. Now, I am a gamer, so you could say anything here, and I probably wouldn't know what you're talking about. But what is a game that you're currently playing?
Interesting. I am a cards person. So a game I'm currently playing would be hearts or spades. Like I'm all about, I use things for my brain. So I like a lot of those types of games, I would say. In other words, not really a huge gamer other than those types of, I like trivia games, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
And I'm trying to go what I think my favorite track would be. So good. I still don't think I have an answer for that. I like all genres of music too. So
I think if you
and
have,
in my to give you a sense of my brain, I'm going all the way from like Britney to U2 to Rufus to Soul. So I am already showing you the chaoticness of my triangulation of different music genres I love.
I would be the same as well. And it also, it's like dependent, like I change all the time. So what I'm listening to now is something that I wouldn't have been listening to however long ago. So, well,
Exactly. Like for some reason, I just was listening to Sarah McLachlan again last night, and I was just working to Sarah McLachlan, and I hadn't listened to her in so many years. I'm like, oh, I'm just listening to this singer song. It was, yeah, it's nice to rediscover that.
fab. Well, if you think of one, you'll have to message me because I want to know.
I will.
Those are the 10 questions. Thank you so much for your time, Phil. It's been lovely to get to you and get to know a little bit more about both you and GumGum. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, and love all the work you're doing, and look forward to doing a lot more together.
Thank you.
Thank you.